All right, we're back on our podcast, Quantum Flux. I convinced Vlad to come back on the show because all we have to talk about today is AEW, and I get the feeling that you didn't want to do it this week.
Uh, well, I didn't want to talk about AEW because I think maybe just because this last couple of days have been a lot of wrestling. Two-night Wrestlemania, Raw, and then you got to watch. Whatever whatever is going on in AEW, you have to watch.
But look, you know what?
You have to see it to believe it.
Yes, exactly. The thing about AEW, man, I think AEW is worth reviewing every single show because unlike WWE, at least they're trying. At least they're giving it a go with their angles. WWE is basically not doing anything. They'll string you along for a year-long storyline where you don't even get the payoff at the end. They're professional. Say what you will about AEW's unprofessionalism, but I'll give them the fact that they're at least gutsy. They're gutsy, I'd say. So and there's a lot of things that go wrong. And hey, we don't know who's listening to this. Maybe nobody. But let's just start out with a disclaimer because we originally wanted to do an uncontroversial podcast, right? But if we're going to criticize AEW, we're already being divisive in a way, right? Because a lot of the AEW fans don't like criticism. They're like, why are you watching if you're just going to criticize it and shit all over it, right? So let's just start out by... Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Vlad. I think you know the answer to this.
Well, because we're wrestling fans, and this was a company that was supposed to be the next big wrestling. It was the hope that everybody was thinking it was going to be revolutionary wrestling, and it turned out to be anything but. It's really unfortunate. That's our biggest. That's why it's our criticism. That's why we we criticize it more than WWE because we know what WWE is, and WWE is what it is. It's a conglomerate. It's a publicly traded company. It's big. It's too big to fail at this point. But AEW was the company that was going to give us real wrestling, or at least that was the promise. And I guess maybe for some this is real wrestling, and if that is the case, well, okay, but it's not the wrestling that I was hoping for. I'll just put it that way, and that's where I'm disappointed.
I guess, and the answer I would give from my point of view is that the reason I would criticize is really just because we want it to be better. We want it to be good, right?
Of course.
We're hoping, honestly,
yes.
somebody will listen to us, in my dream of dreams. Somebody will hear this and be like, you know what, okay, there's criticism for this. Maybe we could do better, okay? And I like some things about the show on Wednesday, but I didn't like some things. Some things really made me angry about it, to be honest. But I have the whole show here. I was at work today watching it, and I took some notes on these cigarette carton packets.
That's actually all AEW deserves, is to have their show written about on cigarette packets.
Well, let's get down to it. All right, this is a wrestling podcast. We're discussing AEW Dynamite from Wednesday night, April 5th, 2023. So the show kicks off, and Excalibur already excited about this huge grudge match, right? It's Ricky Starks against Juice Robinson, which Starks had previously been given a big push. Nice feud with MJF, right? Did pretty good.
Yes.
And now he's with Juice Robinson. I don't know, a match that I was kind of interested to see, but it got jump-started by an appearance by Jay White, okay? Jay White's the Bullet Club music hits, so the crowd pops big.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably like the biggest pop of the night. But they botched this, right? Did you see this or no? Do you remember this? Were you watching the beginning of the show?
Yes, I saw all of it. Yeah, but my okay. I mean, maybe you have your thoughts about this. I honestly don't care about Jay White. I don't care about Juice Robinson. I don't have any like for the Bullet Club. I don't care about any of this. So when this happened, I was like, what? I mean, yeah, I know some people like and say that what's his Sling Blade? What's his name?
Jay White.
Sling Blade Jay White is a really good
Switchblade or Sling Blade? I think it's Switchblade.
Whatever. That only shows you that I don't care. Whatever it is, dude. The point is, I haven't seen anything from him when he was his brief time in AEW, and I didn't see any of his stuff from wherever else he's been, Ring of Honor. I don't know where else he's been. I can't comment, but his time in AEW was not very good. None of those guys showed me anything that I value in a good wrestler. So yeah, he came out. You got to pop. People care about this Bullet Club. I mean, when I say people, I think AEW fans care about this. Nobody else really does. And to me, this was, who cares? I mean, yeah, it was fine. He attacked them. It went on a little bit. They beat him up a bit. They did some Bullet Club hand signals. It was whatever, dude. I was waiting for this segment to end at that point. Waiting for the next thing, which I don't know why, because I'm sure this next thing's gonna be just as bad. But anyways, I can't wait because I can't remember the show. I just can't remember the show. So it'll be very interesting as you go through it. What will every piece that will what I can criticize in every segment.
Unlike you, I would give people a chance. Just because I don't care about them or because I don't watch New Japan, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't, give them a chance and see how it goes. But I think they totally screwed up the production on this because the music hit and they didn't even give them a second to even pan the camera to Jay White. And Juice Robinson immediately started the jump start, and we didn't even see who was on the ramp, And then suddenly Jay White starts running to the ring, and then Taz is like, "Is that Jay White? Oh my God, that's Jay White!" And so I think the timing on that was bad. They weren't in sync with the cameraman. So this is that amateur hour stuff, that WWE doesn't have. Maybe they just need more workers. They need to be more prepared for this stuff. Because if you want to say, hey, you got the hottest free agent in the world, at least pan the camera to him when he's on the freaking entrance ramp. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So they left Starks laying. They didn't even have the match. Excalibur's like, oh, they set him up. They set this whole thing up. I'm like, how is that a setup? First of all, you didn't even do your match. You just beat him up. I'm like, okay. And then Shivani calls this a big deal, the biggest free agent in wrestling. Oh my god. So we're this was rushed.
I mean, I just told you what I feel about it. I just told you. I don't know. I mean, this is the stuff that they say, but come on, does anyone actually feel that way? Jay White, whatever.
I think
even if you like him, I mean, nobody in North America knows who this guy is. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe some people know him in Japan, and maybe he was in Ring of Honor. Was he in TNA too? I don't remember. I don't know. But I
think he's been in Impact, yes. But I think he's a decent worker. I think he's in good shape. I think they could do something with him.
Yeah.
I think this was
he did look all right.
This is a horrible intro to him. And we're only 4 minutes into the show, and this segment's over. So it's totally rushed. I don't know. It's probably a jam-packed show. They only gave them 4 minutes to introduce.
Yeah, jam-packed. Jam-packed. The show they had. Yeah, I mean, they couldn't squeeze in a couple more minutes because there's so much good stuff to come. Let's move on to the next one. I think we should move on.
All right. So they switch to the announcer's desk, and they say Tony Khan has another huge announcement coming up, which is his announcements usually are disappointing. I mean, I think people at this point expect to be disappointed with his announcements.
He's a gem. He's a real gem. That guy. Anyways,
hey. And then at least they mentioned the main event, title versus career. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's something that might keep me interested. FTR's title, their AEW careers are on the line. I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine. At least they tease something. I'll give that a little bit of a positive. Moving on. So Adam Cole's return. They do a little video package to review what happened last week when he beat Daniel Garcia. And I like video packages for AEW, first of all, so I'll give that an up. And then we go to Backstage promo, and Chris Jericho's there with Marvez. And so let's talk about Jericho's promo, which I thought was kind of interesting. So he says that Adam Cole was disrespectful with that outrageous celebration, which honestly made kind of sense to me. Okay, all right, if that's the story they're going with, that's not bad, okay? Because I was like, why the heck are they doing this big long celebration for Adam Cole? It made no sense. Do you remember any of Jericho's promo at all? Did you think this was decent or bad or good?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do remember it. I do remember it. He said something to the effects of, yeah, like you said, it was disrespectful. They made Daniel Garcia look like an idiot. He just came out there to protect them, and blah 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 blah. It was, you know, he was. I don't know. He was just talking. At some point,
I thought it was
stepped
okay.
down.
I thought it was
It was
good. Okay,
okay.
for a lot of Jericho stuff recently. Sorry to interrupt you, but let's
No,
talk.
no.
Let's talk about how Keith Lee interrupted, because I don't know if you remember, because Keith Lee comes in,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
then he goes, "Oh, he's disrespectful, so you're the most disrespectful guy, basically," and he's gonna challenge him to a match and teach him respect, and got straight up in his face, right? So, uh, any anything about Keith Lee and Jericho? Did you think this was? I didn't think this was bad. I didn't think this was bad. I'm like, this is okay. For a lot of the stuff that we criticize about Jericho, I can't criticize this one.
I have no feeling about it one way or another. It's not like it's going to be good. I mean, Keith Lee, what has he been doing? Like, what has he been doing since he got back, before, everything? I mean, the thing with Swerve, it's been a mess. It's a
That's
mess.
true.
The whole company's a mess. Keith Lee, it's okay. Here, there's a reason WWE released him. He sucks. He's awful. Get out, move on. Come on, I can't with this. This is trash.
All right, you're right. You're right.
I'm trying to be nice about it, but come on. There's a reason these guys are in AEW. A lot of them, AEW has guys that either has-beens or guys that or never will be anything, and then there's MJF. But we'll get to MJF, who I was not happy with this week, and we can get to that. Even the good ones have their moments, but we can get to that. It's coming up. Let's move on to what's the next segment.
You're right. Honestly, I can agree with you that Keith Lee has not been portrayed at all on this show. They could use with a little consistency. If they're gonna bring someone out to try to look like a badass. You're right about that. Okay, next match was this trios title match. It's House of Black against the Best Friends, and Trent's mom drops them off at the show, and
I'm sorry. I'm crying, laughing at the same time, but go ahead.
I gotta say something about this. I have a comment that I really, really want to make. I could
make it.
I could do with Trent's mom coming in to drop them off. Okay, I don't mind a little silly comedy. Okay, but the worst part to me is when the commentators try to explain the joke and they kill it, and Taz and Shivani are Taz and Excalibur are like, oh my god, isn't it so funny? Isn't it so great that she's dropping them off like it's soccer? But dude, I'm like, don't explain the joke. This is like comedy basics. When you explain the joke, you're kind of killing the joke. Just let it, like old school wrestling had a lot of subtle comedy where nobody would point out, oh, that was funny. Just let it be funny. So let Trent's mom drop them off. But I'm going to heavily criticize commentary today, or whoever's in the commentators' ears. I'm going to say this again and again, because when they try to put something over, they just sound so lame, man. I'm sorry. They sound like they're like that. So I think it's Tony Khan, from what I hear, in their ear telling them, "Hey, say this, put this over," and they're just like, "Yeah, isn't that so funny? Oh my God, it's great that Trent's mom is here to drop them off. I can't believe it." Okay, all right, it's funny. Let it go. Let the people laugh if they're gonna laugh, but don't try to fucking explain the joke. So that's Kahan on a rant, okay, about this. That's something that pissed me off about this show.
My only argument to that is it's not funny. This isn't funny. It's stupid. Okay. I only say that, and you can continue talking. That's it. That's all I got on that. It's stupid.
All right.
It's embarrassing. Come on. We've already seen this. Can they move? Can they advance these characters? Can they do something different with them? I mean, stop making them a joke. Some of them could actually do something, like Trent Beretta. I mean, this is a joke. He comes in with his mom. I mean, come on. Good God, man.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the match. We don't really discuss a lot of the work in this match, but I will say that it is these House of Black guys, at least they're strong. They're an attraction. Yeah. Like they caught Trent, they caught Orange Cassidy like out of midair. I'm like, okay, if you go to the show, that's pretty cool. I got to admit, Buddy Murphy, I'll give a a shout out. He sold on a pile driver. He got pile driven and he sold it pretty well. Trent, I'll give a shout out to. He pile drived Brody King, which was kind of a crazy spot. I don't know if you remember that one.
No, probably.
He lifted him up and pile drived him. It was nuts. But in the end, Buddy Matthews pins Chuck Taylor and House of Black retain. I thought it was okay. 3.5 stars. Yeah. Okay, which is a good rating to me. Yeah, I'll give it 3.5. Okay, I mean, not much else to say about that. I didn't think it was horrible. Yeah. I didn't think it was great, but
I will agree with you. Just real quick, that I think the House of Black could be something, but all three guys have something. Like they have a good a look. I don't know about this whole spooky stuff type thing that they're going with, but they have something as like wrestlers. But can they be used correctly? I mean, not here, not in this company, but in general, yes, they have something.
All right. We're gonna move on to Christian's first appearance. Big Christian fan here. He's probably my second favorite wrestler ever, just personally. Yeah. I love him, but
I like him.
They started showing him in a red room, which for a second I was like, what the heck? Did he get sent to hell from that burial match or whatever? So for a second I thought it was interesting, but then you see Luchasaurus come out and they're gonna go back to this whole thing, and then I was like, I don't know. I think he's wasted with Luchasaurus. I don't think Luchasaurus will be anything. I think this is what AEW fans don't like about WWE. It's like an Omos type of character who's not really that good, to be honest. He's not good. I don't think putting him with Christian really helps him that much. And then this whole thing.
What's the upside? He can't do anything. He can't talk. He doesn't say anything. I mean, I guess Christian could be his mouthpiece, but at the end of the day, we know what he is. I mean, yeah, he could be like maybe a scary heel type, which is what they were going for. But then why did he disappear? Why is he not around? I don't know. Maybe it could be salvaged, I guess, if Christian does his talking as a character, but
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't think the people buy this. I don't think they'll buy him squashing people or anything like that. I think Christian did a wonderful job.
He's a big, strong-looking athlete. I mean, he's big. He's strong.
Yeah, but what? He's gonna squash jobbers. Okay, good for him.
Well, yeah, yeah, and then and that's the question: who can he work with? Like, who can he legitimately work with after that, right? And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I have no solutions to the dinosaur problem.
I'm not excited for this. I was not a fan of how they flipped them back and forth, going to Jungle Boy, back to Christian, or it's I'm definitely not excited for this at all. I think it's a waste of Christian, and I'm gonna give this a thumbs down. I think they could do something else with Christian, to be honest. So,
sure.
I'm gonna take a little
let
break.
Him go back to WWE, but but anyway, like release him from his contract so the man can go to a legitimate company.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
There's not much left to do.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, if they're gonna use him like this, yeah, there's no point. So I'm kind of sad about that. But I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna reset the memory card, and we'll be right back in a second.
Yep.
And we're back. So we're running the show ad-free for you guys today, for your listening pleasure and viewing pleasure, if you like to view us, our beautiful faces. But I couldn't get a sponsor today, Vlad, so we're gonna skip all commercials. We're just gonna talk wrestling.
What happened to Hostess?
Hostess, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see in the future.
they fell through this.
Yeah, week. They didn't like our ad. I don't know what happened. So listen, we're gonna move along. So Riho and Jamie Hayter, which they didn't even mention one time, it's a title match. I don't know. They've been doing a better job of kind of preparing people for what's to come on the show. Like they mentioned the main event, at least. They didn't mention this at all, which was a little. I listened to the whole thing. I watched this whole show, Vlad. Okay, I'm taking serious notes here. And
impressive.
I don't know. Maybe they just have too much on their plate. Maybe he needs to hire more people to promote things and stuff. But so they didn't promote this. Riho comes out, and boy, I tell you that Riho, man, for a little girl, she's a tough gal. She can take some damage,
Uh-huh.
I mean, look,
No, go ahead.
Jamie Hayter's like throwing big forearms. It's big, way bigger than her. Big muscular gal. And Riho's just taking it on the chin and moving on. You know, just like she doesn't even phase her. This is a tough chick. Honestly, I'm
Mm.
impressed. Um, what do you think? Did you think of the? What did you think of this match, Vlad?
I was at this point. I was staring at the clock, trying to figure out how I could forward to the end of the show. I did not care one bit. I like Jamie Hayter. I mean, Riho. You're right. For a small girl, she does what she can, but it's a little bit ridiculous. Like, why is she being used? Like, at all? Like, I mean, she doesn't help the women's roster. So, I don't know. I mean, it was a match. They did okay. Yeah, from what I saw, I have no opinion on it. Nothing positive to say about it.
Look,
Nothing. Nothing positive.
yeah,
Nothing good.
I know.
Nothing good can come from this.
This is what I'll say about Riho because we've never discussed her yet on this show, and it's a big deal for Cornette, right? And some of the other judgmental people who watch AEW that she's just too small, doesn't make it look realistic. And to that, I would say I think they could still use her personally, but I think they would have to use her a little different. Like she shouldn't just take a forearm to the face from Jamie Hayter and no sell it. Like maybe they should make her dodge a little more, and if she does get hit, it needs to be a big deal. Like she needs to sell it and go on the floor for like at least 30 seconds or something. So I don't know. I feel like she's almost no selling because she's so small. It doesn't make sense to have Jamie Hayter laying into her and it not really doing much damage. So it's hard to do it like this without it seeming like obvious cooperation, and that's the problem. Because good wrestling is supposed to look as realistic as possible. Like we all know it's fake, but the cream of the crop make it look as real as they can, right? And this just does
because it's art. Because it's art. It's that's the art in wrestling that you have to try. We all know it's a work, but you have to try to, you're trying to work the fans, work the crowd, work the people watching. They forget for just a second, hey man, there's actually some legitimate stuff going on here, and this is not. This won't pass that test for sure.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give this 1 star out of 5. I'm gonna say this is bad. This is I would just, if I was booking and if I was there, I would tell Riho to sell a little more. She doesn't, and I would tell her to dodge, try to not get hit, type of thing, because it's just not gonna look good if you take a big hit and you don't sell it at all. So, that's my feeling on it.
I mean, there is a way to book this. There is a way to book this, like a smaller wrestler versus bigger wrestler. That like they're using their speed. They do a couple quick moves against the bigger wrestler. They could do this, but at the end of the day, a couple power moves from from Hayter, her finisher, and the match is over. But instead, this goes on. Everything has to be competitive. Everything has to go segments after segment. This should have been over in like 5 minutes. Instead, it went on for 10, 15 minutes, whatever. I lost track when I started forwarding, but that's the way I would book it. I would book it a quick match where it would be quick. There would be some spots for Riho to do some stuff, but at the end, it's a quick match. It's a quick, like she uses her powers too much, and she just beats her, and that's it.
Exactly.
Instead of going everything. Not everything has to be a classic because first of all, they're not capable of producing a classic anyways. So, anyways, yeah.
I agree. All right, let's move on from that. I know you gotta go to bed soon, so let's try to get through the rest of this show.
Don't worry about it, man.
It's Friday tomorrow.
I mean, yes, I gotta go to bed, but I gotta go to bed, but that's not the issue. I'm always, I always gear up when we're talking wrestling.
Yes. Okay, so backstage, Renee Paquette is with the Outcasts, which I guess this means it's a pre-tape because Renee's kind of not there. It seems that's my guess. So the Outcasts cut a promo and they want the title from Jamie Hayter, and Renee's like, well, which one of you? And they're like, well, we don't, I guess, is this like planting the seeds for already a split for them? Like who wants to be the one to take the title? But they haven't decided that. So whatever, I guess that's a little tease or something to think about. I'm indifferent to this segment. I'm not even going to give a rating on it.
It doesn't deserve one.
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess we'll see who fights Jamie Hayter next. I don't know. I
Yeah.
would I guess if I had to choose, I'd say Toni Storm.
She's the best option.
Yeah, give her
Yeah.
another title run. We'll see. All right, so next segment we got 2.0 and Jake Hager. They're on the entrance ramp and they want to know if well, you want to know. You remember the line that Daddy Magic came out with when he came on there? He said, "Do you want to
Yeah,
know
I know.
what makes Daddy Magic's nipples hard?"
Yeah. I was. I don't. Yes, yes.
And he
I
said
do
the
remember
thought
him
of the
saying that.
Acclaim joining them, joining the Jericho Appreciation Society, which, okay, I'm a big Daddy Magic fan. It's too silly. I
I know.
got a chuckle from
It's
me, but okay. That's a little too much, man. But Acclaimed come out and in their rap, they basically reject them. They turn them down. So
right.
all this, I guess there was.
I have. I don't have anything positive to say about this. I'll just say that again. What I think I said. I think this was last week when you were talking to me about that video segment. That what is going? I mean, what are they doing with the claim? Like, what is going on? I mean, I get that they're. Are they going to try to make them a legit tag team or not? Because if they're going back to doing this type of stuff, might as well just save this stuff for Rampage, Dark, Evolution. I
Well,
mean,
that's where they're gonna
their
fight
YouTube stuff.
on Rampage. So yeah,
Right.
this was all a build up. All
Exactly.
that whole thing at the amusement park and the dinner, and then this was all a setup for a Rampage match that no one's gonna watch. So
Right.
yeah,
But I don't. But why give this TV time on your main show then? I mean, you could do this. This is not important. This is not going to do anything for anybody. What I mean, this does nothing for the Acclaimed. I mean, this is literally worthless. This is useless. This gets nothing from no one. Doesn't do anything for that group, Daddy Magic or Cool Hand Luke and Magic Mike and whoever else is in that group. Does
yeah,
nothing for them.
Jake
So
Hager.
this is dumb.
Yeah,
Jake Hager.
let's not talk. Let's
Anyways,
not waste
just to,
time talking about Jake Hager.
yeah,
People have lives.
no.
Forget it. Let's move along.
All
All
right,
right, whatever.
let's move
Too
along. Yeah.
bad for the Acclaimed. They're stuck in this, but okay. I don't know. Moving along, dude. Okay, so here's the good stuff. Supposedly, MJF. This is MJF stuff. So they show a video package about they gave him the key to Long Island, right? Like literally.
Yes.
Like they got like an actual guy. Like who is this? The town supervisor? Was this real?
I have. It looked real. I don't know. It looked like a legit somebody that's somebody.
I gotta find out if this was real because it seemed pretty real. You know, they gave him like a title that the local town supervisor from Oyster Bay, I guess.
Yeah, that's
They
what
got
said.
like
Yeah.
they got an
Facebook.
actual official to give him like the key the key to the
Yes.
town, which is weird, but okay.
Yes.
Okay. So then this is the celebration of MJF. They got a band going. It's in his hometown. This is Long Island. So yeah, he's gonna be a babyface today, and so he starts singing. He has a number that he's prepared, and which we've seen before, right? He's done this with Jericho when they were hanging out.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
a dark spot, supposedly, some people would say, on the career of MJF, but here it is again. And I'm going to let you say what you thought of this segment. Let's just start with just the fact that he's singing again. Let's start with that.
Well, yeah. Initially, I blamed Jericho, but I started to think this might be his own fault. You know, I don't know why this happened. I mean, to put it mildly, I don't know why this went on. I don't know why. I mean,
It gets
clearly
some heat.
he thought it was a
It gets some heat. But, dude, the crowd was loving it. They were, dude, whether you think this is a good segment or a bad segment, you got to admit, MJF is talented. Okay, this guy can perform. He sings pretty well.
That's true.
He got the crowd going. There was a woman in the crowd who was dancing and having a good freaking time, right?
I just thought it doesn't. It just I know he's a heel, but he's a big time heel. But he's a babyface. It's his hometown. But the singing, I kind of had an issue with. I mean, I'm gonna give. If it was anyone else, I'd be going crazy. Not crazy because I don't have the energy to go crazy for AEW, but I just really ream them good. But here, I'm gonna give them a pass. But I do not support this. I do not support the singing. I mean, you're a wrestler. Be a wrestler. If you want to be an entertainer, you want to be an actor, go try out for movies. Go do that. This is a wrestling show. Not to say that they can't have some entertainment, but not like a singing thing that he was doing. And I'm not saying he was. He actually, I mean, hey, he sings better than Jericho. I'll tell you that. Maybe he should be the lead singer of whatever that group is. Maybe he should be singing Judas when he comes to the ring. But he's a better singer than Jericho. But that's not the point. The point is, this is a wrestling show. Can we? And he's a heel, and he just doing some. I mean, if this was to annoy people, it'd be one thing. But like you said, people were really cheering into this, and even I thought it wasn't half bad. Like, well, it was half bad. Like, what the hell what are you doing, bro?
Well, look, listen. Let me tell you one thing. The whole show I was watching so far, I didn't get a reaction for anything. Like, I'm just taking notes, writing like I'm in a freaking classroom. Like, it was kind of, I don't want to say boring, but it was whatever. When MJF started singing, I genuinely couldn't stop smiling the whole time. I was like,
it was funny. I just don't know what to make of it because it's not wrestling and it's not what you would want him to do. But
I think it gets some heat with the people at home. I think the people in the crowd let him do it because it was Long Island. So if there was anywhere to do it, it was in his hometown. Let him.
Sure.
I'm gonna say I don't have a problem with this. I don't know. You might have a problem with this. I'm gonna say
I have a slight problem with it, but because it's MJF, I'm gonna give him a pass because he's been so good in so many other times in so many different segments that everybody has a stinker. This might not even be a complete stinker. I just don't completely support the singing and the dancing and for your wrestlers. I kind of, I believe in a little bit more. I like my wrestling a little bit more serious. I guess I just put it that way. Not that there can't be any comedy, but when you're the main event champion, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm just gonna say I don't support it, but I'm gonna give him a pass because it's MJF, and that's the only reason.
All right, let me go through his promo that he cut. So he was given the key to Long Island, like literally, I guess, and he goes through some things. Jungle Boy's girlfriend has a penis, he says, controversial thing of the night. Talked about his ADD when he was a kid, which got an ADD chant out of the crowd. ADD, which I thought was pretty funny. Okay, and he cut a promo on his old teacher who said that he couldn't pay attention because he had ADD. Called her a stupid B word. Okay,
right? Because she said that he'd never amount to anything, or that he's never going to become a wrestler, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's a good promo, I think.
That part was good. Yeah, that part was good. Once he stopped singing, things kind of were better.
Yeah, and then he finishes it off with a babyface line. If you work hard, you can be anything you want, except him, because he's better than you. And the crowd says, "Yeah," and we know it.
Well, he is better than everybody in that crowd.
Okay.
I mean, that goes without saying.
Okay.
Well, he's definitely better than anyone in that locker room. Also goes without saying. But yes, but there's more to this segment.
Yeah. So
he
wants to sing a little more, and then one of the musicians starts too early, and MJF yells at him, and it turns out to be Jungle Boy in a mask, which I thought they did that okay. I think Jungle Boy did good again. I think whenever Jungle Boy is physical, I have no problems with him whatsoever. Even his promos have been good lately. So this I'll give a good positive to. Jungle Boy attacks him, security pulls them apart. Jungle Boy's been kind of getting over on him. Threw him into a cake the other day, messed up his celebration today. This is kind of this is good. Okay. And then
I'm for it. I don't have a problem with it.
All right.
I liked it. I even go as far as to say that I liked it.
Yeah, and then Sami.
It wasn't perfect, but it was fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was good. Honestly, I think this whole segment was good. I'm gonna give this whole segment a positive rating. And then Sami Guevara comes in, and because his match is up next, so his music happens to hit, and the championship belt, as though he gets involved. So three of the four pillars are in now. Not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, not bad. And they move on. They move right into Sami's match, and he fights Komander, who's like a luchador guy, and they have a lot of spots, and it gives Sami a win. It gives him a win. At least it gives him a win, which is
yeah,
it's good.
Well, if they're trying to build this guy
if,
to actually be a championship contender, can they give him some singles wins? I mean, finally they gave him one. Sure, it was against the Komander, which is first a stupid wrestling name.
Hey, he had a lot of top rope, crazy stuff. Okay, lots of spots.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's
this guy comes straight from the. Where did they find this guy from? Which bingo hall did they pull this guy from?
Honestly, I don't know a lot about him. I didn't think he was bad.
I don't know either.
Like you said, it gives him a singles win, which puts him in the picture to fight for the title. So and Darby Allin's up in the rafters like Sting. So all four pillars are here. And then Sami cuts a promo on MJF, which honestly was not bad. Actually, it was a really good promo. I think this was a really good promo. And he rips him for singing, which he had a lot of ammunition to go at him for the singing.
Well, the singing, yeah.
So honestly, he had a point, right? Basically, and
about the singing for sure.
Yeah, MJF really put himself out there to get ripped on, and I'm gonna give Sami's promo here like a good 4.5 stars. Honestly, I think this was a good one. He said MJF cheated last time he fought him, and
yeah. So
I think this was good overall. This whole thing since MJF came in, they got everyone involved, and I didn't have a problem with the singing performance, and I'm gonna give this part of the show was my favorite part. I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember being joyed with anything or thought that the promo was that good from Sami, but it was okay. I mean, he said some stuff and stuff was okay, and I can't really remember anything significant that he said.
You gotta go back and listen to Sami here. I think this is one of his better promos. I'm telling you, if you weren't really listening here, you should. This is the one part of the show I think you should, because this is the meat of the matter. It's MJF, with who's gonna fight him for the title, and all four of these guys are heading it up. So I think they're all doing good here. I think it's going in the right direction. I think for this whole thing. Anyways, Vlad, one more break, and we're going to finish off the show real quick after this. And we're back. So let's move on with the show before we get our overall thoughts on the show. Let's finish it off, and you can give your grade, what you thought of it.
Sure.
So Hook versus Ethan Page. It's an interesting matchup because it's always interesting when Hook, they got to get Hook going. They got to get him over against some guys. So they got Ethan Page here today. It's better than Stokely Hathaway and Matt Hardy. So I think they had an okay match. I don't think it was that anything special. I don't think it was that bad. Matt Hardy in the end turns on Ethan Page, which I guess we saw coming. Eventually.
Yes.
Whatever. That didn't get a reaction at all from the crowd. Nothing. This didn't get over at all. Nobody cared.
Because nobody cares. Not even AEW fans care about this.
Nobody cared.
Even their most diehard fans don't care about Hook and Ethan and this whole angle with Matt Hardy and everything that's going on here. I told you before that nobody cares about this. Before, so
I know.
So I forwarded through it. I'm Hook. Okay. I mean, you can say they try. I don't know what they're going to do with Hook, but whatever it is, it can't be this. It can't be. Maybe if he's going to be in joke angles with characters like Hardy and Stokely and even Ethan Page, who's been made to look like a joke, who I agree has some talent, but what difference? Who cares if you have talent when you're being used this way?
Yeah, I know. All right. I'm gonna move on. The crowd didn't care. I didn't care much either, honestly. Let's see what happens in the future. So we move on to Tony Khan's big announcement. Big announcement. Right. So, which was interesting was seeing Nigel McGuinness here, who we used to see in TNA as Desmond Wolfe back in the day when we were watching. So that's a new signing, I guess. And the big ass announcement is that they're gonna do a new pay-per-view called All In, which they've done before, not under AEW, but before AEW existed technically, and they're gonna do it at Wembley Stadium. And again, the commentators do their overexcited. Oh my God, can you believe this? Wembley Stadium. Oh, can you believe this is gonna be huge? This is gonna. God, sounded so freaking like these guys cannot sound any less excited. Like they're not actually excited. So fake. I'm gonna squat.
They sounded like I would if I was having to work at that.
They sounded like you would if you were sarcastically trying to act excited. Like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Like these guys are they burying the show or something? Like they suck.
Maybe.
If they're not, I'm gonna bury these commentators because these guys suck. Excalibur, Taz, and Shivani freaking suck. I don't know if they're being fed horrible lines.
Probably.
They killed the show for me. Okay, I liked some of the show, like I liked the MJF stuff. Okay, but these guys killed it for me. Every time they try to act excited or act like something's funny, they make the show sound so stupid, and nobody legitimate who I could introduce this show to would think this is anything other than horrible amateur hour stuff. So I like this.
Exactly.
I want this to be good. Okay, so that's why I'm criticizing it. If anyone's gonna say, why are you watching the show? I like the show. Okay, I like silly things. I like wrestling. But I'm gonna fucking bury these commentators, man. These commentators suck ass.
Well, let me ask you this. So that's not the part I care about. The part I guess that's kind of interesting is them doing a show in Wembley Stadium to you.
They're not going to sell out Wembley Stadium.
How many seats does Wembley Stadium hold?
Man, a lot. I don't know what it is. I think it's like 100,000 seat stadium. It's a big stadium, something like that.
100,000 people.
They're not going to. Dude, even like a big band really wouldn't sell out the stadium. Like they're gonna cut it down. Like they're gonna be in the middle, and they'll show whoever. They'll turn out the lights for the rest of the stadium and stuff. They're not gonna. If you think it's gonna look like WrestleMania, where there's like, it's not gonna be that.
Of course not. No, of course not. But my point is, what is the point of then booking that type of stadium if you're not going to be able? Is it just what's? I mean, there must be an upside business wise, or else why do it, right? But I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but it seems
it's a brand. Wembley is a brand. We can always they'll always talk about the time I beat you at Wembley or something like that. It's a bigger name, I guess. So,
I see.
Do I care though? So, am I as excited as these commentators are? Like, no, I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah. So again, you would say the big announcement kind of was another letdown, more or less.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to build it up as a big announcement. Yeah, I'm over these big announcements. I don't need any more big announcements.
And why does he keep bringing out Adam Cole to do these? I mean, I don't understand this. Is this like a running gag? Why does he keep bringing out Adam Cole?
I don't know. It seems like they're buddies or something. Like he's giving him a lot of time on the show, a lot of chances. He's gonna put him over. Yeah. It seems. I don't. Maybe he thinks Adam Cole.
Well, sure.
Maybe he thinks he speaks well.
I just don't get.
Good speaks.
Toni doesn't speak well. Toni doesn't speak well, so that's one of the things. Maybe they're thinking like maybe he's heard all the criticism that he shouldn't be talking about stuff on air, but he's still out there a couple times, and it's always bad. But yeah, whatever. I just kind of nodded and said, interesting. But again, I also started thinking like, well, there's no way they could actually do an actual stadium show. Because, they can't fill up a huge stadium.
They don't have to fill it up. They can just not light the parts where there's no fans, and they won't really show the whole stadium. Sure. Whatever. Let's move on. We only got 2 more segments. So, Blackpool Combat Club come in and squash some jobbers, and they beat them up after the match. And Danielson is cutting a promo about all the amateurs. So I guess they're trying to blend, a little bit of a shoot here, blend some reality into the show, because that's even what we talk about, that the show is full of amateurs. So Bryan Danielson brings this to light in the show. Is this any good though?
Yes. Yes. This was okay. I'm happy that he's their leader and their spokesman, compared to he's the only legit wrestler. Claudio is a legit wrestler, but he can't really talk. Moxley's just what I think of Moxley's a joke, and Wheeler Yuta is Wheeler Yuta. So this at least gives them some legitimacy. Danielson's pretty good on the mic here. He was a good heel a year ago when he started off being a heel, and then he's good here. I thought he said some things, and at least I was kind of interested. I was invested in some of the things he was saying, and I kind of liked it. And I'm glad that he's the leader of this group because with Moxley it just goes nowhere, and at least here there's something. So I would say it's okay.
Yeah.
I'd say it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It kept me interested.
Yeah, I liked his promo. I liked I didn't like what he was wearing. He was just wearing like a jacket, like he was going to the bar or something like that. Kind of like it dressed a little cooler, I think. His green jacket, I wasn't a big fan of. Also, the thing about this Blackpool Combat Club stuff, the only thing I'll say is that I think last week they were kind of running wild around the arena, beating people up. Today they didn't really mention them till this spot, so they could have continued with that. They could have had some continuity and at least have them beat up somebody backstage. I thought would have put them over a little bit more, but okay, whatever. Still, it is what it is. It's not that terrible, I think. And then Adam Page comes out and they all beat him up too, call him an amateur, and then they gouge his eyes out with a screwdriver. So.
Well, that was ridiculous. Okay. I mean, I don't know if they were. Wait, is that what they were doing? Gouging his? I thought they were just I thought they were scratching his head with the screwdriver.
I don't know. They didn't really show it. I don't know.
So we don't even know what they were trying to do, but it looked ridiculous and looks okay. That part I did not like because it looked stupid and fake.
Yeah.
And why do it?
Yeah.
Why do it? My thing is always this: if you can't make it look real, don't do it. Don't do it. That's my thing with wrestling.
Yeah.
You can't make it look legitimate, and you're like, well, we want to put a cool thing in here. If it's going to look like that, and it's going to look dumb, don't do it. That's my advice.
Yeah. All right, moving on. So we got the Guns and FTR, and the Guns had a new intro, which I thought was pretty cool. Made them look a little dramatic. But for the match itself, the theme here was that the Guns kept trying to get themselves disqualified, and that the referee wouldn't throw the match out because they wanted to give the FTR a chance in this type of match. So, which I thought was pretty funny when they kept like low blowing them and I thought it was good because they obviously can't compete with FTR, and in the end FTR ended up winning anyways despite all the interference. So they're the champions now, which all's well in the world, right? They finally deserve it and they finally got it. So there you go. Right thing to do. Good, decent way to end the show, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was actually a kind of a clever match. I didn't hate it at all. I thought this was the most interesting part of the show for me personally, because I like FTR. It was the part that I least forwarded as far as matches goes for sure. I watched it pretty close. I wanted to see how this could go. There was some funny spots, like you said, funny in the sense of like, they were trying to get disqualified, but there was some good wrestling in between. You're always going to get good wrestling out of FTR, and the Guns can work. They're pretty good. I mean, they're green, like people say. They're still kind of new to the business, but they're developing pretty fast. I think they've got some stuff that they've got figured out. So I liked it, and of course it was the right result because I don't think AEW wants to lose FTR. That's why when they had the whole contract thing, they made sure that that's why one of the agreements that they're going to be champions, and they're going to try to actually maybe book them well. I mean, book them well, we'll see, but at least make them champions from in the beginning, and maybe that was why they decided to come back, because that's probably more than they're going to be able to be promised in WWE. So I guess they, unlike Cody, this was the right choice for them because at least they'll be featured, I think, and they'll hopefully be used better than they were, the last couple of months, specifically, even though they had all those great matches with the Briscoes and whatnot, and all, the matches they did have that match they've had matches with the Young Bucks that were good and all that stuff. They've had some good moments, but, there are times where they're not used at all, and and stuff like that. So
yeah, we'll see what
happens.
What comes of them this time. We'll see what they do. All right, we got to wrap up this show because my camera's almost out of battery. So real quickly, just give it a grade, I guess. What do you think for today?
I will give it C minus.
C minus.
I'll give it a C minus.
I'll go C plus.
Yeah.
I'll go C plus.
Yeah, no, there's no way. There's too much bad in here. There's
So
just too much.
I
There's too much
guess
stuff. It's
some stuff amused me enough to feel like, you know what, I enjoyed
I
it.
will say the MJ stuff was okay. I still have a problem with the singing, but it was a passable segment. And then the Danielson thing he cut a good promo. The other thing was with the screwdriver was dumb, and then the FTR match was good. But that's like how much was that of the show? I mean, that's way less than half. So I can't even possibly give it a C or a passing grade. I would say C minus just to be fair.
That
and
is
I
a
give them
passing grade.
outright D. Well, yeah, but I'm just trying to. Well, you know what I mean. C minus is barely passing. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's being a nice way of saying that you got a D, but we're gonna give you a C minus.
All right then. All right, Vlad. I know you were down on AEW and you were on the fence about even coming on to review the show, but I appreciate it anyways. I like doing these shows. I'm gonna see if we could do more in the future. Hopefully next week we'll see if we do AEW again. But
Sure.
all right, man. Well, good talk. I'll talk to you later. We'll see you next week.